All right. So today I'm going to talk about how to resolve conflicts. And again, because the nature of the subject is very hands-on, um, we uh, during the classes, like if, when we had last years when we had these classes, we were I had like all the students in the classroom like contributing to the same repository, which is almost impossible to happen, that you have that amount of people are committing to the same repository at the same time, or rather modifying the same file at the same time. So but it's actually going to be interesting learning experience for some, because uh, today, for example, you're going to see one of the issues which a lot of people they will encounter at least on their second day, if not the first day. So if it didn't happen on the first day of your job, it will happen to you the next day, definitely. And one of them is how to resolve conflicts, right? So two people working on the same project, and then they commit the same file, and then like imagine like two people are writing in the same file, like writing in the same project. They have to something has to happen, a problem has to arise, right? Because you don't know which code I will pick, right? And this is one of the things which I wanted to show you today. So I hope that you actually last time, or like since the last week, you have already trained on like the different commands that you could write in with Git, and you do that locally. Right now, we will work with GitHub, and and GitHub is a very popular host for um, source code. So if you would like to host your source code somewhere, either privately or publicly, you can actually use GitHub. One thing I wanted to mention here is that it depends really on the projects you are working on. Some of the projects you might work on that um, they do not use GitHub at all. There are actually several servers on the internet. You have GitHub, you have GitLab, you have I think Jira has its own. I forgot what it was called, from Atlassian. I forgot the name of the um, uh, Atlassian. Um, Bitbucket, yeah. So Bitbucket had also is a Git solution, like a Git server, right? So some people will not be hosting always in GitHub, but GitHub is actually quite popular among many people, and a lot of people, like a lot of companies, are using it, including Microsoft and IBM. Everybody is, or Google, everybody is using it. However, there are sometimes, before I actually get started with the topic here, I just wanted to mention that there are sometimes some companies do not even want to host their Git repositories on one of these public servers, right? Because at the end of the day, um, like hosting, like putting your, for example, your emails, let's say your emails are on somebody else's machine, not your machine, practically speaking. You have to log in. You have to have an internet connection. You go in and then you look at your email. So your email is practically speaking on somebody else's machine. And some people, like some companies, they're working on some critical code that they don't want even to host that thing on GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket or anybody, right? So they just simply say, no, I will not host this outside. So they hosted this locally. Now, there's an interesting thing. If you're going to be a DevOps guy, like the guy who is responsible, or the girl, or whatever, who's responsible for um, build pipelines, for example, like supporting developers. So it's called DevOps, developer operations, right? So you actually like, if a developer, for example, commits a piece of code, then you actually, your job, for example, is to write scripts, shell scripts or whatever, in order for it, and even like maybe even GitHub Actions, right? So you can actually make these Git Actions, I would call it right now, where if somebody commits something, it immediately compiles, builds on the server, and then pushes the changes to the users, for example. This is called DevOps operations, right? So some people actually had one of their jobs, DevOps jobs, sometimes they have actually to set up their own Git servers, like Git hosts, like GitHub, make your own GitHub, but on the company servers. And there are many solutions about this. The one which I've heard of, there is Git it's called that way. So if you would like to be a DevOps one day, maybe you would like to look at it. So this is called Git. So you self-host your Git service. So for example, people, when they would like to create a new project, they will not go to GitHub. They go to the locally made website or locally made server, and they create a project right there, right? So their own company servers. And I think I really forgot what was, hang on, let me see. There was actually Git uh, and GitLab. Yep, GitLab is also um, GitLab is also a server that you can subscribe to, like GitHub, but they have also a uh, GitLab. They have also like their own servers, which you can take and then deploy on your own local machine, and then you can have your own local quote unquote GitHub, basically speaking, which can have multiple repositories and stuff like that. They say it's a resource hog, but right now, again, I'm not talking even about development. This is pure DevOps stuff, right? So if you want to be one of those people, check this world out. I think it could be interesting thing for you. All right. This is just a small detour telling you like a couple of things that might be interesting if you would like to do some other different professions. Now, I have my own GitHub project here, and I can actually make it even private so nobody can look at it. But for the time being, I'm going to make it public, and I'm going to call this Learning Git, right? And of course, it's going to be available because it's under my domain, quote unquote domain, right? There is this something which is called Git Ignore. Maybe I'm going to show it to you later. I just need to, hopefully I will not forget. I can add a README file, right? So, and it's going to be m.md file, so readme.md, markdown file, which is good to have always for your GitHub repositories, which says what this repository is about, right? Because nobody will understand the code from the get-go, right? And yeah, and then just simply create a new repository. Now, the moment I do that, I have, because I actually said, give me a README file, I'm going to get an initial commit immediately right there with readme.md learning Git. And GitHub is kind enough that I can even like modify this. And then once I modify, I have to commit my changes live in there, which is fine. So I'm just going to cancel this for now. Now I need to check this out, right? So I'm gonna, I have only the main branch, and I'm going to, where the heck? Aha, here. Sorry. So right here, I have the HTTPS, the SSH, GitHub CLI. I can actually use any of those stuff. I'm gonna use the HTTPS without complicating things. By the way, there are policies and stuff like that you might want to, like talk with people who are in the industry. They will talk to you about certificates, SSH keys, and different authentication methods. How to make sure that you are, secure and do all the stuff. Security here is software security, and being secure is super important at this stage, to be honest. And a lot of people are super sensitive about this. So Be careful. I'm gonna have open terminal right here. And all what I need to do is just simply git clone. And I just put this in here, okay? So I've cloned learning git. So right now I pulled it out from the internet. And if I say cd learning git, right now I'm in the repository. And if I hit ls, you will see that I have readme.md, which is totally fine. Now let's actually create, I would like, so for example, let's say that you have, that you are actually like, you initiated a new project, you would like to create a new calculator, right? And I'm not going to create a whole project for the calculator. I'm just going to show you like how things will look like here. So I'm going to create a new text document, for example. I'm going to call this my program.cs. Yes. And I will open this with Visual Studio Code, which is right there. And right here, I'm just going to, using system, then namespace, my program, then static void name. I think it was string args. And then, for example, so flight line. And then you have, I don't know. Hello. Learning. Okay. So let's say that you are actually done. For example, you made the project and then you created, then you made the first seed. And then you are happy about this, right? So let's actually put this aside for now. And let's see what this guy has. So git status. And as already have seen from the previous class, we already can see like the changes. We already have like a program has been added, right? We have modified, created the file. We have added some code. We would like to push that up. So I'm just gonna say git add dot, which is add everything, which I've done. And then that means it has been staged. So I'm gonna say git commit -m. I'm gonna say an HTML commit for now. Yeah, why not? And then I'm gonna say git push origin main. And this means like, please push the changes up to the server. And that's it. And right now, it says that I have actually pushed this to the GitHub repository. So if I hit F5 right now, it's actually there 23, 24 seconds ago. Okay. And right now I have two commits. The first commit is like I got automatically from the README file. And the second commit is my program. And if I click here, I see actually I can read the code. Actually, in GitHub, you can even like edit the thing if you want to, but we don't want to delve into that. I mean, no need for it. All right, so so this is actually nothing new so far. Like you already could do that locally. The only thing which has happened is that you're right now pushing upstairs, right? You are pushing to the server. Now let's say you right now like two people got employed just right now, and then two people they started to work on the same project, and that one of them actually they are making a calculator. And one of them has to make the add, and another one has to make the subtract code, right? So how to approach this? So the first thing which person A would do is, for example, he says, okay, so the employee A comes in and it says like get check out -b. So the first thing he will check out a branch, so they work separately somewhere. And usually people like have feature slash, a lot of people like have this policy, they say feature slash and then they continue, right? So they say, for example, I'm going to have the add feature, right? Sometimes they put in the code or the ticket number because if you are working with Todoist or Jira or any of these softwares, they usually have like ticket codes. and then some people say feature, and then the name of the feature, and then the ticket number, or just simply like feature / the ticket number, and that's it, or the ticket code. And then you check out a new feature, right? So it's going to be called add feature. And if you look at my code here, nothing different happened, obviously, because I'm actually on the same branch. And if you look at git k, if you visualize my Git repository, you will see that I have the initial commit, and the add feature and main are both of them on the same level. Like they are not, nothing has changed so far, so the files are the same. And right here, I can just simply say static or public static add, and then you're gonna have, double add, and then you have double A, double B, and then you have A plus B, right? So it's a very simple C# code, nothing fancy about it, right? You just simply like created almost a lambda, or it's actually a lambda rather. Okay, so if you actually go here and you say git status, you'll see that I have a program that has been modified. So I'm just going to say git add, git commit -m added or implemented. It would be crazy if I added, not crazy, weird, added add feature. Implemented the add, right? And I say git push. Oh, yeah, okay. I have to say, oh, okay, I can actually say it like, I just can even copy this like so. And right now, I've pushed my changes here. Now, if we look at the moment I pushed my changes, suddenly this branch appeared, because when I created the branch locally, nothing happens obviously on the server. The moment I push to the server, things actually have changed. And right now I have two branches, right? I have the add feature branch, which has been pushed like half a minute ago, and I have my main branch, right? And the fun part is you can actually switch between them, like here. So this is my program, it has the add feature, right? And if I go again here, if I keep on the main branch, if I click my program, add feature doesn't exist because it exists on another branch. All right. Let's actually stop right there. Let's actually create another user. So I'm going to actually like simulate, not create, but I will simulate another guy or another girl, whatever. I'm going to, let's see here. So I'm going to have to desktop maybe. I'm going to create another folder. I'm going to call this person 2. And the person 2 right here. So person 2 is gonna need to like he also or she got employed just right now, and they actually asked to implement the subtract feature, and they will say, okay, go ahead, take your code and just simply like please do the actual right now this is person 1, remember, with the add feature. This is person 2, and I asked him or her, please actually implement the subtract feature. So yeah, sure, I'm gonna actually sit in my PC, get the thing, and clone the stuff. And right now, if I actually look here, I have learning git. So learning git, right? And actually, if you look at, if say git branch, you have only main right now. I think there was. Oh yeah, right. Because I actually cloned the whole repository, but I think I can say git checkout add feature, or sorry, feature add feature. And right now I actually can switch to the branches, right? So right now I can look at the feature which you have committed, right? So if I say git branch, it will say I'm actually on this branch currently, right? And this is the main branches here. So I'm gonna say git checkout main. I'm just showing you that you clone the whole repository. You clone everything, right? Okay, so now you will do exactly the same thing. Like you, as the second employee, will actually say, aha, okay, I'm going to have to branch from main, and I'm going to add my subtract feature. So I'm just going to say get checkout -b feature / subtract feature, right? And enter. And right now I'm on the subtract feature. And if I say get k, you will see that I'm actually like on top of that main, right? I'm actually branched off of main, which is good. All right. Now, oh yeah, actually I need to modify the file. So if I actually go to person2 learning Git, and if I look at the program, if I open it with Visual Studio Code again, hopefully, now this is the guy, right? So I'm gonna close this guy so it doesn't confuse you, because I'm just opening two files from different places. I'm gonna have here a static double subtract and double A double B. This goes to A minus B. Okay. The reason why I don't see the add, because add is still on another branch totally, and it doesn't have any relations with main, right? And I'm branching off main. So the main branch had only this for both of us. And each one of us have made their own copies. And one guy or one girl made at the add, another guy made or a girl made a subtract. And both of them, like, they are completely separate right now, okay? So just to illustrate here, this was your main. So this is your M. And then you actually, like, we branched out like so. Each one of us had their own copy, right? And each one of us had, like, one of them had the add, another one had the subtract. Easy. But that's why you don't have both of the changes in there, which is okay. So we are done. Okay. Now let's actually, and also one of the tasks I had, let's say, is, for example, you are not only learning Git, but you are actually, I'm learning Git and creating a calculator. All right. So we modified only this line. And that's it. Okay. Now we'll actually move that aside. We don't need it anymore. And right now, let's actually simulate that conflict. So, for example, let's say that you were first get status. Let's see. Yeah, we didn't commit our changes yet. So let's say you, as a developer B or second person, you were actually, like, still working hard on this. It takes you a little bit longer time. So you were actually still working on this, and this guy already done. So let's actually, like, have this git commit -m, or actually not yet. This guy was done. Git checkout. Right now, let's say main. So I switched to the main branch. And then let's assume for a second that that guy with the adding feature have done or finished their adding feature, and it got approved and it tested and everything is just fine. And they told the guy, all right, okay, please merge your changes with the main because we're going to ship it to the users, right? I mean, it doesn't happen exactly that way, but let's assume, I mean, it's similar to that way, but let's assume this is the scenario, okay? I'm simplifying things here. So we're going to say, okay, I'm going to merge. So git merge. There are a lot of people who are for the rebase, but we're not going to talk about that. I'm simplifying things here again. Git merge feature / add feature, right? Because this is the path to the actual branch, right? So I'm just going to do that. And right now what happens is main and add feature branches have been merged. And if I say git push, and right now I'm pushing everything to the server. So if I actually go right here and hit F5, so if I go to the if I look at here, actually, the add feature has been committed like 8 minutes ago. And if I look here at the program, right now I have the add, and I'm still on the main, right? So we have merged main and the add feature. Now here comes person number two. Person number two, I've just finished. Somebody actually have finished committing, right? And they went home, just like, you know, I committed, it passed. I run home, I'm gonna go to sleep or see whatever I'm gonna do with my life, right? Person two just finished the subtracting feature and they would like to go home, right? So they say, okay, I'm just finishing the subtract feature. I'm gonna say git commit -m subtract. Did I add? Git add dot. Yep, I didn't stage it. So right now I staged it. That's why it's in red right now. And I say git add. Sorry, git commit -m subtract feature implemented. Subtract feature. And enter. And then I say just simply git push, right? And again, I need to, let's see. Let me just grab this guy and just again push this guy there. And right now, as you can see here, this has been refreshed and I got subtract feature on. All right. So subtract feature, right now, if you look at GitHub, if I look at all branches, I had the add feature, subtract feature, and main branches, right? And if you look at the subtract feature, it's actually there. You've got your subtract in there. So right now what we need to do is merge, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, you as developer B, you got your tests done, everybody is happy with your code, and they say, okay, we're going to ship the subtracting feature to customers. So please merge your changes with the main. So you say, okay, I'm going to git checkout main, and then you say, and right now you say git pull, and git pull means that you pull all the possible changes that could happen while you were developing, because you don't know if somebody have done that. Now, obviously, I haven't done it in the previous, like with the previous user, because I know that nobody have changed it so far. But if you are in production environment, you never know. So you always pull first, and then you start to you attempt to merge things. So you say git pull. And right now I pulled all the changes that could happen, that already have happened. And if I say git k, you will see that the add feature has been merged with main. Okay. So if I actually like remove this right now, I say git merge feature subtract feature. And right now we get into a problem which it says auto merging this guy, merge conflict in program.cs, automatic merge failed, fix conflicts, and then commit the results. Okay. And then you cannot go home just because of this, because your code needs to be shipped and but you cannot, but Git will not allow you. So what is exactly happening? And what exactly is happening is if you actually open that file right now, so if I go to person 2 and I open the CS file, and if I open it actually in Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio Code is kind enough to highlight for me the stuff here. But let's assume that you don't have Visual Studio Code. Let's assume that you are looking at this in a text file. If you look at this from a text file, you will see this. Okay? And here's the interesting part. It says, where's the head? Like, where's the actual, like, latest changes that happened? Where are they? And what is actually incoming here? So this is your changes. Separator. These are the previous changes. Right? If you look carefully, this thing has been merged nicely. This has been actually automatically merged. You know why? Because not two people modified it at the same time. You modified the same line at the same time here, but one of you have actually just modified the line once. So it says, okay, this guy have modified this line after that guy, so it's easy to figure out, yeah, I'll merge that. But for these two guys, I don't know which one to pick. Now, here's the interesting part. If you would like to pick either one, you have to choose. Okay, I'm going to choose this, for example, or choose this, right? If you would like to choose, let's say, I'm going to actually copy all this. So I'm going to keep this in my clipboard in the memory. You could say, okay, only subtracting feature will go. So you will erase this, you will erase this, you will erase this, and this, and you are ready. Okay, you resolve the conflict because you say only subtracting feature will go. If somebody told you no, only add feature will go, then you will just simply remove these guys, remove this, and only add will go. What if I would like to do both? Then you will actually remove this, remove this, remove this, and both of them are here. Okay. Some people, I remember like, and some of the students in the labs, but obviously not right now because we are joining all of you doing this all online. I remember some of the students actually have resolved the conflict in the following way. They opened this file, and then they committed it as it is. I don't know how they managed, but they committed it as it is. And then the code literally cannot compile, obviously, because people got in their Visual Studio, all of a sudden they got these weird things in the actual source code, because right now this has been committed as a text, even though Git as a system or as a software injected these just as pointers, so I know which one to pick, right? Now, obviously, a lot of people are using tools. So some of you might actually use Visual Studio Code, for example, to resolve merge conflicts. So they say, accept the current change, accept incoming change, accept both changes, compare changes, right? So you can compare both of these guys. So you can see, this guy has changed, this guy, has changed, which one to pick, and so on and so forth. Because right now we are making a very simple software. Other people, you will have like hundreds of lines of codes, and then you have to compare with many, like 10 files maybe, or something like that. So anyway, so this is the current change. As you can see here, Visual Studio Code really nicely highlights it. And this is the incoming change, which is your changes. I can say accept both, which means remove both of these guys, right? So I can just simply say, okay, accept both. And right now, just simply removed both of them. Maybe even I will just simply like also have a public here. So save that. And when I, actually, when I clicked on right now, just when I clicked on this window, just refreshed, and everything just got, refreshed. So anyway, right now we have this guy done. All what I need to do is come here and I say git status. And as you can see here, you have unmerged paths, and I have already resolved my conflict. So I'm just going to say git add, and then git commit -m resolved merge conflict. And then git push. And right now, if we look at the main branch, we should be having the add and subtract. Okay. So this is what happens when multiple people work on a project, right? You could actually end up with a conflict like this, and then you have to choose which one to pick from. Now, if you don't have if you're not cool-headed a bit, you might get scared with so many of these signs, because you will not have only one of these head and then the dashes and then the other one, right? We will have actually multiple of them in the same file, and sometimes they are spread out in a really large distances. So do not get scared about them. Just simply know that, part where it says the head is like the current, which is already you coming from the server, and the second part is your stuff. And then right now you just simply figure out which one to pick, and that's it. There's one more thing I wanted to mention here is there's this tool which I'm actually currently using. I'm using it for free right now. It's called Git Lens. Right now, it's the Pro is the trial version. I think Git Lens is free for public repositories only. It's coming from a company called GitKraken. And here you can click and see the changes that has happened, right? You can actually see the working trees and stuff like that. I just want to see Git file blame. And Git blame is very interesting. It says who done what and when, and actually by like who actually did it in terms of the user. Right now, because it's me, the same user all the time, you will not see anything. But let's see. Also, it has commit graph. And this is also cool. The commit graph is also free for public repositories. I think you need to pay like $60 a year in order for you to like have, download, just get Kraken maybe and stuff like that, and then you have um, like the whole graph of the repository, like how your branches has been going and so on and so forth. Yeah, one more thing. There are certain things that you could do as a Git quote unquote, let's say power user. It's just one of the things that you have to do or you have to know about is that the .git ignore file. And what it does is that sometimes you would like to have files that they shouldn't go in there, right? You don't want them to be there. So for example, let's say you would like to create a file which says, for example, settings.txt, for example. And this settings file, let's say this is one of the things which you don't want to, let's say that these settings, for example, let's say, imagine that you have settings of Visual Studio, the panel layout and stuff like that, and you would like to make sure that your settings do not apply to everybody else's because everybody has their own. One of you using, for example, the light theme, another is using the dark theme, and whatnot. And these files, sometimes you don't want them to be shared. You would like the Git just simply ignore them. And if you look here, I added just a new file. And if I say, I don't know, where am I? Person2. So person2 Git status. And then, as you can see here, just a file just appeared right there. So how can we resolve that? I would like this to be ignored completely. So what you do is you add something which is called, and this is Microsoft recently, quote unquote, have enabled this in Windows 10, I think, and maybe prior versions. You say .git ignore, and it literally has to start with a dot. And yes. And .git ignore is a very dot. When you have a dot in the beginning of the file without a name, I think it makes it hidden by default, like a folder like this. So if you don't have hidden files and folders shown, you will never see it. So you need to show it. And if I actually open this, I'll open it here in Visual Studio Code. And as you can see here, Visual Studio Code immediately recognizes that's part of Git. So that's why it gives it this interesting icon. And then here I can just simply say settings. What's it called? Settings? Yeah, settings.txt. And I'll save that. And if I save this, right now, if I go ahead here, it should get status. You see, it disappeared, right? It only said, aha, you added .git ignore. And .git ignore is going to be shared among everybody, right? But as you can see here, just settings.txt just disappeared. If you would like to ignore files that are of a certain extension, you just simply write in the wildcard. So asterisk dot, I don't know, exe, for example. So if you are making exe files, you will never see any of that stuff. If you would like to ignore folders, you can just simply say anybody in /bin, just ignore /bin, right? So for example, if you are making a Windows Forms application, when you hit Control F5, it's actually in the bin. The executable is in the bin folder, if you would like not people to see the bin folder because nobody needs your exe after all, they'll just simply put it under the git ignore. So right now, if I save this, and I'm right now person 2, and person 2 happens to be on the main, right? So I can say git add. Oh, hang on. Let me just confirm git status. Git add dot, and then git commit added git ignore file git push, right? And right now, dot git ignore is in there. So this is one for that. And if you look here, settings.txt is not there actually, right? Because it has been ignored. It says git, please do not track this file or do not track this folder, and it will just simply completely ignore it. Yeah, I think, yeah, one more thing before we wrap up. So actually, like, I wanted to show you that and one thing to wrap up here. So let's say that you have committed something and you didn't want to commit it, right? You would like to undo what you have done. And it happens a lot to many of us. We are humans, we make mistakes, we do crazy stuff, and we would like to just undo that. Okay. How to do that? If you are in staging, we say git revert or get reset, and it just simply takes the stuff from being added outside and like to the working space, and that's it. So basically speaking, I'm talking about where's paint? Did I have paint here somewhere? No, I missed paint. So we said that Git has like these interesting stages, like 3 stages or so. So you have the working area, working space, and then you have staging, and then you have remote. Actually, like you commit to the repository and then you go to remote. You get the idea. But so we say git add, and then we fine. Let me just and then you say staging, so work, staging, repo, repository, and then the remote, right? So you go from work to staging, and then this is what git add. So then when you say git add dot, I don't know how to write with a mouse. Wow, what the heck? Add. There we go. So you say git add, and then you say git commit. So this is, well, this is a commit, right? And then you have push. With a push, you get here, right? So here, I think, as far as I remember, it was revert, git revert. And then with here, you say get reset. Right. And then also with here, you can get reset, but there are 2 techniques for it. So how to do that? Let's say publish static something crazy. Hello. All right. Public static void. You have done something crazy. You said, okay, I'm going to commit that thing. Right. I'm going to push that to the server. I think this is still person 2, I hope. Git status. Yep. So git add dot and git commit bad news happening. It's literally like that. And then we say get pushed, right? So it has been pushed. So how to resolve that? The one thing to do is once you have pushed the thing, you say git revert one. Okay, so the first option is, which is good for if you are sharing with people. All right. Let's say, how can I put this? So everything you do in Git is being tracked, the history, everything. So if you commit something, it gets tracked. If you do something, it just gets everything. It just gets tracked, right? A mistake happened, it will immediately get tracked, right? And in order to keep the history correct, you need to make sure that you are completely transparent about this. So if you are working with multiple people, it's okay that people see that you made a mistake and then I have undone it somehow. So let's say you made a mistake like this and you would like to undo something, but people also will know that this happened in the history. So, which is totally fine. Nobody, like everybody makes a mistake. It's okay. So you can say, git revert head actually. So git revert head. And then the moment I clicked that, the moment I hit enter, it just gave me this. Okay. I'm trying to revert this commit with that comment. And this is the commit hash. And I'm just going to say here, this reverts commit. This is the comment. Why this is happening. And I'm going to say, and then you have to describe. Like I'm going to say, like, let's say mistake with code or whatever you would like to call it. I'm going to hit Control S and I'm going to close this. So one file changed to deletions, right? Before I actually push this guy had this, right? Now, if I go here, and if I say git push, and if I hit F5, it's gone, right? I have undone that. But if you look at the history, you have the bad news happening, and then the revert happened, right? It is seen in the history, okay? Which is fine. Okay, this is okay. So this is how to rescue yourself. Like, okay, I've actually made like everything is on fire right now, and I have to undo what I've pushed, right? So in order to rescue yourself from or rescue the team or rescue whatever dumpster fire has been happening right now, just simply like you do that. Okay. Now let me close this. I don't know why I'm getting these messages, but okay. Let's actually see option number 2. And option number 2 is not actually quite preferred, but it's what it does, it will just simply kill the actual history. So we said git revert head. Head means like please take whatever where the head is and just simply push it back once. I think you can undo multiple commits by having a squiggly. So you can say git revert head and then this. And then, for example, 2, I think right now you're going to undo 2 commits backwards, right? But let's say you would like to, let's say we made another crazy mistake. And this is recommended for, and as you can see here, obviously, because I have undone this right now, the file got normal. Public static even or double even more crazy method. Yay. Okay. So let's say that you have actually done something like this. Right now we have 8 commits, right? Now, if I actually go ahead here and I say git status, it should be right now there. So git add, git commit -m, even crazier news, or it'll be like so, happening. Please do not make your commit messages like this. You have to be very precise. I'll say in 1 sentence, 5 words at most, says what exactly this commit is about. I'm just having fun here. And then I say git push. Right? So right now, my server or my code in GitHub has this thing. And let's say this is a terrible mistake and you would like to undo that. So what you're going to do, you're going to have to call on get reset. And then you have to say exactly what has happened, like get reset head, and then you push the changes. Now, if you look here, there is also get reset hard, which is like, I think forces the thing. I can't remember anymore. But anyway, it's 9 commits right now, isn't it? So if I say git reset, and this is good idea in private repositories or in branches which you don't share with other people. Get reset head. And this time I'll put a squiggly 1. So I'm just resetting 1 commit specifically. And I just simply had like reverting, like pushing back a commit. So I'm just going to say this. Unstaged after reset. So I say git commit, or git actually, sorry, git push. Oh, hang on. Sorry, git add, because actually the file has been modified right now. Right now my file is like this. Where is it? Or? Oh yeah, actually right now, yeah, actually right now I have the chance to change this thing. So if I hit save, it should, but this is weird. On which person am I? Get reset. Yeah, so actually right now my changes has been undone. But I could have actually said maybe get reset hard. I think it would have been even a better idea. Actually, you know what? I can say git push f origin main. And right now I'm gonna force pushing it. And right now, this should be 8. You see? And right now, if I actually go here, actually I think I erased it or it just went away. But right now I just simply forced the push. You have to force it. Actually, I remembered right now. I actually don't do that, to be honest, that much, that I always forget to force the thing. So if you try to push, so I reset first. And then if I try to push normally, it will not allow me because right now I'm overwriting the history. But I have to say this, git push -f origin main. So -f means forcing it. So I'm going to force the push. And once I forced it, right now you actually overwritten the history. Nobody will know what actually just happened, right? You just remove the thing from the history. Now, this is, again, please understand that this is a very dangerous, very, very dangerous operation, because as you can see here, you're literally modifying the history of the repository. It's a good idea that you do it on your own branches where nobody is sharing it with you. You may be doing it with, and maybe doing it with your own private repositories. But if you are sharing code with somebody, do not go to a branch where everybody's committing it and then you do modify the history like that, unless you know what you are doing. I just simply showed you 2 ways. The safe way, which shows you that yes, there is a history behind it, which was get revert, I think was. Where is the thing? Oh, come on. So we have the git reset, we have git revert head. I think it was called revert right now. Yeah, it's actually git revert, definitely. So git revert head will actually create a commit, and you have to say what is the message, what happened. Git reset is right now, like we are right now modifying the actual history. Git reset hard will actually ignore all the commits that you have done to your local repository and revert everything back as if you just pulled from online repository, as far as I know. So yeah, these are the stuff which you will encounter in real life, like at least the first day. It's going to happen in that way. You pull the code, you modify the things, you try to commit, you get a merge conflict, you resolve the conflict, and then you push. You made a mistake, you undo the commit, you revert things back, and then you do, like, this is exactly like day one, day two of your job. This is going to happen to you, no matter what kind of a developer you are, front end, back end, whatever, right? I think this is it. If I had actually the class like with the live students, it would have been hands-on from there on out. So we would have like sit down and then we say, okay, let's try this by hand. I'm just gonna stop recording right here.